everything in life constantly changes, and this is we get so caught up, and so does he, of what's next that you forget about being in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is the biggest moment of his life, but there's so much yet to come, right? And we worry so much about the moment that we're not in the moment.
Yeah.
I just want him to be in the moment tomorrow, right?
Yeah, because one day it'll just be a race.
One day it'll just be a memory, brother.
Yeah, like a memory of a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfection is something that could destroy us, right? There's no such thing as perfection. Yet we all chase it, and I try to tell them all the time. You know, every race is different. Some races, you know, and you just gotta keep learning. And that's a synopsis of life, right? You just gotta keep learning.
I know that the one fear that I'm still attempting to make peace with throughout this whole prep and with this race coming up is the fear of not meeting my own expectations. That's still something that I have that conversation with myself and with God every single day. Looking at this track workout, it was just one of those workouts it's a great. It was something that reminds you, like, hey, all this work, this is what it's for. I'm excited. I feel better on my runs. My bike cadence feels better. I feel smoother in the water. It feels like everything's clicking at the right time.
There's a staging point, like at start finish.
You guys are you doing 2 or 3? Chug some more fluids. Chug some more fluids. And I'll do it.
10 days out from France, from the Ironman World Championship. At this point, it's just a lot of telling myself, hey, you did all the work, and just allowing myself to appreciate that. At this point in time, there is no extra fitness that I could gain. There's not really a reason to push any harder than my coach prescribes for me in these workouts. So it's just about checking these final boxes, doing the little things for recovery, and getting ready for the big day. I'm super grateful for the fact that this is going to be a period of my life that I'm going to be able to, like, show my kids or look back on one day where it's like, hey, at 22 years old, I was able to travel across the world and race a full Ironman in France, and there were so many people that just supported me living my day-to-day life. Whether it be looking back on it 10 years from now or, you know, a week from now, it's just something that I'm really excited about. Another reason why I'm super excited for this experience is that I've never left North America before.
So now may we suggest that you start taking some time to start restarting your belongings and make the seat in front of you. What is there to look for that?
I think it's now come down to mentally just being like, hey, this is a once in a lifetime experience, something that I want to look back on and be truly appreciative of how present I was and how happy I was to be able to be a part of that race. It's about the mental preparation now.
Hey, head on a swivel though. You just gotta be careful. There's people always walking around you. He was like trying to take a photo yesterday and he just walks fully backwards into the bike path and there's 2 people right there. I'm like, oh my God.
For a while I had this mindset of, okay, I just want to be good at everything. I want to say I've done this. I want to say I've raced that.
Once he conquers something, like, he moves on. He meets BPN, he becomes a professional bodybuilder, he wins. All right, what's next? He goes on to, you know, powerlifting. He walks away, right? And then we go to Wisconsin and he gets humbled.
When I think back to a year ago when I qualified for this race, I was a few months out of college and I didn't know exactly whether or not I wanted to stick with Ironman. It just seemed like it was something that I was gonna try out, see if I liked it, and then if not, I could progress on to another event.
And that was one of his first experiences in his young adult life of, all right, I'm not the best, but I'm gonna become the best.
Looking at myself now, I think I've found what I've been looking for since I was a little kid, which is a long-term commitment that I can stay dialed in with and work towards becoming exceptional at it.
It blows my mind that we're here and that this is what he's become. This is who he is now, right? We're always evolving. It also makes me decide to see what the future holds, you know?
I wasn't like the most intense training because I was tapering. Being overseas for a race compared to being in the States, overwhelming. I'm gonna be entirely honest. It's very different, something that I'm not fully used to, and of course there's the language barrier, but I don't know if I could internationally race multiple times in a year. I just feel like mentally I was out of it for the first few days, getting into a good group.
The more rocks you hear rattling, it's the water. It's like that's like an indication of like where you are. As soon as you start to hear them, you're like, all right, I'm like 150 out. As you get closer, just louder, louder, louder. When it's really loud, it's like you can stand up. Get out. There we are. That's all I'm training for today. It's not even training, really.
Got to enjoy a fair amount of French food before the race, which is definitely different.
And then could I do the avocado toast and add an egg to it?
I feel like we're so used to it being, you sit down, you order, you eat, you pay, you leave. Whereas with them, it was just supposed to be a whole experience where they bring you your food and then they don't check in on you, and it's not because they don't care about your service, it's because they want you to like sit down and enjoy the meal. It was something that I was very appreciative of, and I think it really helped me to just slow down in the days leading up to the race.
I can't believe it! Out of nowhere!
Yeah, I think that's really it for those two. Bottles, yeah, I'll load that. Okay, cool.
You know, I try to be the mindset guy for him. It's just another race. You know what I mean? If it's in your head, if you put all that pressure on, well, world championship, I have to perform, you're gonna fold because you're just adding noise, right? Just take all the noise away. Just find your flow, man. You have had it beat into you, and you truly get what the flow state is, and that's all you have to do. When you're on the bike, you're just worried about the bike. One pedal at a time, right? One foot in front of the other. That's all this is. Just step away from all of it and recenter.
Yeah, 100%. Love it.
Love you more, man. That's why he's special. You know, he's had and overcome a lot of darkness that most kids his age didn't. That pivot point after college, like him having the opportunity to go work for you and with you guys and be surrounded by, you know, God-loving, good humans is everything. I had 1% chance to survive. There's no reason I should have all my body parts. Zero. Makes you believe in the higher power real quick, brothers. You know what I mean? There is a God. I walk through the light. It's all real. Being 3 beings of light showed me some of my wrongs, showed me some of my rights, and said, all right, brother, go back and raise your kids. You're not done yet.
Me and Twin, for real. We got the same stash. What a crazy jump.
Yeah.
11:15 to 9:38
pedestrian
in 2
street
years.
only.
Why don't we all just go out to eat? Let's do it. And I'll just eat bread.
Okay.
Service heavy emphasis on like trying to be a very nice to you and like gas you up a little bit. Here they're like,
In the past 2 weeks, I've been saying it to a lot of people who've asked, oh, how'd the race go? Like, how do you feel about it? But the last month leading up to the World Championship itself, I feel like I became a robot. Like, my days were Ironman training, work, sleep. I didn't think having fun was a priority. And I remember my mom even called me one time and she was like, are you doing anything fun over the weekend? And I was just like, yeah, I was trying to convince myself that this is fun to me. And don't get me wrong, like, it is such a privilege to live this life and to call this like my work. But at the same time, it's just, if you live life to any extreme, you are neglecting so many important aspects of like the day-to-day living and interactions and hanging out with your friends or just like being a present human being.
$15, $18.
There is, in my mind, just like a lot on the race, how much BPN has done for me over the past year and documenting the journey of getting to this point, thinking about what Ironman has done for my family and I and how kind they were to support me throughout the whole race. And as opposed to thinking about it as encouraging and being like, look how many people believe in me, in my mind it was like, okay, like go. Like this is like the standard. You have to be overwhelmingly, almost intimidating state of performance in order to truly meet the expectations that I thought people had for me. In combination with not feeling too hot in the days leading up to the race, I think it was just this kind of like, all right, I'm at this point where I don't feel well right now. That's what led me to, unfortunately, throwing up before the race.
I'll wipe my nose a little bit. Woo. There's all the nerves that I had. Gone. They're gone. Literally. We're good. They've exited my body.
I'm super excited. The atmosphere here, like it's 5:40 a.m. and it's already, you feel it. It's Ironman feeling.
race start was the most entertaining race start I've ever had. I mean, I'm so used to the rolling start at 3, 2, 1, go. You're going off in groups of 3 or 5. They had everyone ages 18 to 29 in the water, treading water at the same time. You're kind of pushing each other down, trying to hold on to someone else's shoulder. Everyone's just ready to go out all at once. Everyone's had a little chant like right before it. For that like brief moment, you realize it's really not that deep, and we're just a bunch of people that voluntarily put ourselves through this, and we pay to be here and to do this. I don't know if it was a cannon or a gun. I don't really like fully remember, but as soon as that goes off, it's just chaos. This swim was probably the highlight of my day. As soon as I started getting into a good groove of understanding where I was, I noticed I was passing a few amount of people. It was a swim skin swim, so the water temperature was too hot for a wetsuit, but you're in the Mediterranean Sea, which is pretty high in sodium, so as a result, it's like extra buoyant. So I knew from the start it was gonna be a quicker swim. I remember even thinking, oh, this is going by really fast. And I couldn't tell if it's like, maybe I was swimming pretty quick, or it just, that's how these days go sometimes. In the first transition area after the swim, getting my bike gear on, just trying to mentally prepare myself for the long amount of time I was about to spend on that bike. I wasn't trying to think too much about the course, to be entirely honest. I was thinking, just get on my bike and start riding. I knew that I was gonna be on the bike for a while, so I just told myself, like, hey, like, start riding, get into a good groove, 1 pedal stroke at a time, 1 mile at a time. You're gonna get this done. No matter what, I just kept telling myself, like, I didn't get all the way to France for the Ironman World Championship to not finish this race, regardless of how fast I was gonna do it, no matter how much effort it was going to take, like, I was going to finish the race, and in order to get to that finish line, you have to do the bike first. Total feet of elevation gain over the 112 miles. 4,000 of that, so half of that is done in the first 27, 28 miles. So you're going 8, 9, 10 miles an hour, just up this like steady climb, and you're just in like the highest gear, trying to pedal, trying to put out power, taking as much nutrition as you can because you want to fuel this part. It's the most intense part. Living in Austin, Texas, doing most of my outdoor rides on a highway, I wasn't used to the turns and the switchbacks and how narrow the roads were. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. The last third of the ride is the descent, and that was the part that, in my opinion, you had to be the most mentally focused on because of how technical it is. For me and my strategy with the descents, it was like, okay, naturally, I'm gonna be going faster. This is the portion of the race that I'm supposed to be making up time. However, you can't make up time if you crash. Trying to understand, like, okay, if I see this straight away and I know I can push a little bit harder, I'm good, but around a lot of the turns, it was just blind. I just kept trusting myself and being like, okay, like, just flow. Getting off the bike, I knew I had paced it well to a degree in order to have a good run. Like it wasn't like a, oh, I had overcooked it, or oh, I felt dehydrated in the slightest. Like I feel like I had consistent fueling throughout the entire bike ride, and I felt like for the most part I'd set myself up well for the run. I mean, mentally, you always got to be somewhat like relieved a little bit when you get off the bike, because you're like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna crash running, so I can just kind of like take it easy and start running, especially on that course. There's a lot of people that was just like, oh, I'm glad to have just survived the bike. It's the last leg of it. It could take 3 hours, it could take 6 hours, it could take up until midnight. But no matter what, like, if you want to cross that finish line, you have to finish a marathon. I felt really good starting the run, like phenomenal, as most people do starting an Ironman run, but I remember even looking down and I was like, oh, let me pull back even more just to make sure I can start out well. So I think 7:35, 7:40 per mile, as someone who has run a 2:53 marathon, that felt very comfortable for me. If I sit here for the whole race, totally fine with that. I know I was struggling a little bit before the race, but throughout the whole bike, I didn't have any problems. So I'm like, could this be it? Like, could this be the moment where I've passed the sickness that was with me in the days in the morning leading into the race, and it's just like, go out conservatively, try and have a good run and see how it goes. At about mile 4, I would say is the first time that I had the feeling of like, ooh, I don't feel really too well. In my mind, I'm like, okay, after 22 more miles, it would make sense to stop for a second now to just like set myself up for the rest of the 22 miles. So stopped at a bathroom. Took like maybe 4 steps and that feeling came like right back, and I'm like, okay, like let me just push to the next bathroom. So same thing happened. That would go on for the rest of the race. It was a 3-mile out and back 4 times through, and I was like, oh, that's so easy to break up, you know, you're just doing 4 laps. It became like, make it to the next aid station every single time.
From Belgium, Steven van den Boogaard. He takes time.
Come on, Lou! Home stretch, Lou! Home stretch! You got it! You got it, Lou! Let's go, Lou!
One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. All right.
I realized very early on like I wasn't gonna have my day running, and it just became a matter of be present, trying to be, you know, reflective and appreciative of those supporting me, going through the motions and just trying to finish the race. That was it. I was like, I don't care how much I have to walk, like I'm not gonna stop right now. Like people ask me like, how are you feeling? Like, is it an energy thing? Do you need gels? I just can't eat anything, can't drink anything. I think I took 2 gels the whole marathon. Other than that, I like couldn't do anything. I try and say it as much as possible, but the amount of people that choose to support me is, in my mind, so like absurd. And like it's never gonna feel normal to me when I'm running and someone just yells out my name or yells out "go one more." And it's something that I just like truly appreciate so very much, because it makes me realize how grateful I am to live this life, because truthfully, strangers believe in me more than I believe in myself at times. And especially during that run when I'm going and I have to stop every mile because I'm in just like pain. I'm just like, oh, this is so frustrating. I could get so angry. I could try and ask God to make sense of like why this is happening to me at this moment, or I can take a step back and be like, there are still people that I've never met before up until this very moment that are choosing to stand out here and cheer me on. What I've just continuously brought back to, that was a thought that I reflected on weeks after an Ironman Texas, and it was a thought that I reflected on very much so in the moment. No matter how much in my mind I'm underperforming,
You're here!
people are just really happy to even see me taking one step in front of the other. I know I'll be able to look back on this chapter of life and be like, I can't believe that was a reality for me. So I just try and high five as many people as possible. I try and say thank you to as many people that cheer me on. It's just showing gratitude for the individuals that continue to support you while you're trying to do something with your life. Like I just have an absurd amount of gratitude for that.
Still going out.
Luckily, he knows how to push through the sup, right? 4 miles out.
Continue, Ushi, Ayashi, you are an Ironman. You are an Ironman horse. USA, Jeremy Simonelli, you are an Ironman.
In the last mile and a half leading to the finish line, it's like a sense of relief. And you're like, I didn't quit. I kept going. Suddenly the stomach pain ceases for a brief period. Suddenly the fatigue in your legs kind of disappears. Your stride picks up a little. Things got a little quiet, at least for me. And it's just this brief moment where everything is still. And you're like, I did it. I came here to finish the Ironman World Championship, and I'm about to finish the Ironman World Championship. Crossing that finish line and stopping to watch, knowing very well that I was far off a best time in any way, I couldn't care less. It was just to see my family there, to see the BPN crew there. It was just such a reminder of how much my life has changed over the past year, and how grateful I am to be in this position. And although I really, really want to do well in these races, and I really try my absolute hardest during all these preps and the training blocks, that I know that the day will come when it's supposed to. And that allowed me with instant satisfaction with just the moment that I was presented with. Because I could have crossed that finish line and been angry and upset at myself for everything. But I think the first thing I said was new course record for most amount of porta potties used. And that's in my mind, I'm that's who Luke Hopkins is. And that's who Luke Hopkins always will be, is someone that could take a very unfortunate situation and find the silver lining and just reflect and be hey, no matter what's happening externally, internally, I'm always going to be this human being that chooses to try and be as positive as they can to not only help others, but to help himself as well. I don't think you'll ever fully understand why life happens exactly as it's supposed to. It could take days after an event occurs, it could take years, it could take decades. When I reflect on these visualizations or these expectations that I set for myself, I think I'm becoming more at peace with the idea that I'm intended to be a dreamer in a way. And I think back to this quote, and it's that God has put these dreams in your life for a reason. And as opposed to trying to shy away or shut down the idea of being exceptional at something in my life because it doesn't seem realistic, I learned to embrace it. And I learned to accept that I'm supposed to think and feel and live this way. There's a reason why God wants me to be Luke Hopkins and why Luke Hopkins is a specific way. And it's just going about it day by day and realizing that it might not happen, like I said, this year, in the next 5 years, the next 10 years, but it will happen one day. It's just not a matter of putting my entire self-value on how I choose to perform in a triathlon or in anything in life, really. It's about who I choose to be and how I choose to treat other people, regardless of what's happening in my life.